What's going on, you guys? So I feel like I have to make a part 2 to this whole Errol Spence not being a Hall of Famer conversation, because I've seen so many crybabies going all over the internet, doing videos, commenting on videos, defending Errol. And it's like these same Errol fans, we haven't seen them in months, really since he got whooped by Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford just, put his name out there, and, that's the only notoriety he's gotten over this last year and a half. So, I mean, whatever. But now they're coming out of the woodworks defending Errol Spence and saying he's a Hall of Famer. And I've already given my stance on it. He should be. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to say he should be. He shouldn't be. But he will be, because they got B-level fighters like, Timothy Bradley, Errol Gaddy, this, that, and the other. I don't know if Mickey Ward, Rocky's in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer, but like I said, he shouldn't be. And I'm getting sick of hearing guys comparing him to a Marvin Hagler and a Roberto Duran. Those dudes are legends. The thing about Errol Spence is, yeah, he was a great fighter. He was, for a short period of time. Derrick Rose was a great basketball player for a short period of time. So was Tracy McGrady. Terrell Davis, the running back for the Broncos, was a great running back for a few seasons, but that was it. Whatever the outside circumstances may have been, or, things happen that halted those guys' careers. But Errol Spence, the thing that's really halted his career other than those accidents is him not being active. The dude got destroyed and hasn't fought since. But before he fought Crawford, everyone was saying, oh, this is the greatest Errol Spence we've seen. Right when he beat up Yordenis Ugas, everyone was saying, oh, this is the best Spence. But now after the fight, he had a broken rib. Oh, he came in weight drained. Oh, he was high. So many excuses for this dude. So many. And you know what it is? So many people are saying that Terrence Crawford is still hating on Spence. No, you know what I think it is? I think Terrence Crawford hates his fan base. I think he hates Errol Spence's fan base because they're so delusional into thinking, oh, that wasn't the same Errol. And everything that Crawford said before that fight happened came true. Everyone's still making excuses for him. But since Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer, right? He only had 6 title defenses, 3 by knockout, and the only dudes he knocked out were Ocampo, Ugas, and Lamont. Those were his only 3 stoppages when he finally picked up the first strap. And then he beat up at Broken Kell Brook to get the strap, right? But what's interesting is there's been a couple, unified or possibly even undisputed champions that no one talks about being a Hall of Famer. And one of them's still fighting right now. Or 2 of them, actually. That's George Kambosos and Jarrett Swift Hurd. Right. Both of those guys were unified, quote-unquote undisputed, if you want to count the whole, Teofimo Lopez being undisputed, But I will say this. Between both of those dudes, both of those guys have the best win. They have a better win than Errol Spence. Biggest win. George Kambosos beat a 2-time lineal champion. Right. Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is a 2-time lineal champion. More accomplishments than anybody on Errol Spence's resume that he beat. Jarrett Swift Hurd. He beat Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara is a Hall of Famer. Multi-division champion. He's accomplished a lot. And he's a slick southpaw Cuban boxer that picked apart, stopped, and probably retired Danny Swift Garcia, who you guys claim is a Hall of Famer, right? Right? Is it Danny Swift Garcia a Hall of Famer? Since he beat up Amir Khan, he landed a lucky left hook with his eyes closed. And he beat Lucas Matisse, but when it came time to fight a Terrence Crawford or a Victor Postal, he moved up to 147 to fight for a vacant title against a dude he really lost against, I believe, right? This is a Herrera dude. I think that's how he picked up the strap at 147. Then he lost every single notable fight after that. That guy, Yeah, Erslan Delara stopped him, picked him apart, and probably retired him. So my argument is this. If Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer, are those two dudes a Hall of Famer? Because they got a better win on their resume than Errol Spence does. One thing that George Kambosos and Errol Spence have in common is, yeah, they were unified champions and they both got destroyed in their undisputed fights. Errol actually got beat worse. But that's all I have to say. Since you guys want to keep crying about it, you know, I'm getting kind of tired of it. All the fanboys, you know, get off your knees. Errol Spence hasn't fought. He's retired because Crawford retired him. Crawford beat the daylight out of him. And he's not a Hall of Famer. He shouldn't be. Let me know what you guys think. Hate, like, comment, subscribe.